All right. This is Josh with my main man, Burton, who is the PropStream head trainer. We're going to talk today about driving for dollars and more. I don't know why. There we go. Dollar signs, dollar bills, y'all. Driving for dollars and more with the PropStream mobile app. So how you can use the PropStream mobile app to be more efficient, to grow your business while you're out and about doing different things. I'm pretty excited because I have the app on my phone, but I don't know that I've ever used it, if I'm being fully transparent. So I'm excited to see, how and start to think about how I might be able to use it as I am out and about. And full transparency for everybody watching here, like I have Burton on here as much for everybody else as I do for me, or vice versa, right? Like every time we're on here, I get all these crazy, ideas, and I make these connections that I hadn't made before. So if this is the first time you've been on one of these sessions with Burton, all of our sessions are in a playlist on YouTube. You can find them on my Facebook page. You can find them on my LinkedIn. And, we've got a full demo in there. We've talked about generating motivated commercial real estate listings. The list automator, that thing's bananas. I actually did a live earlier this week on using PropStream to find old expired listings, aka failed listings. That's what they're called in PropStream. So today we're going to focus specifically on the mobile app. But if you want a full demo, or you want more information, or any of the other sessions that I mentioned, you can find them on my YouTube. Or if you're struggling to find them, just let me know. Huge favor to ask. If you're excited about today, learning how to drive, how you can use the mobile app to do some driving for dollars and some other functionality at your fingertips, right from your phone, right? These crazy computers that we have in our hands now. If you're excited about that, do me a huge favor and hit the like button, or even the heart button on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so now and smash that the bell so you can be notified of future live sessions like this. And lastly, if you're on LinkedIn, hit the like button or the light bulb. I love the light bulb. You'll also find in the description resource links and some additional information. First and foremost, where you can get a free trial with PropStream. growwithjosh.com/PS. It's also scrolling on the bottom because we have this fancy technology here. And if and when you have questions, go ahead and pop them in the comments, and we should be able to see them here, and I can even pull them up live as we go along. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Burton, the mobile app. Take us A to Z mobile app with PropStream.
Let's go. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's just get straight to the point. So the first thing I want to just kind of do a recap. In our previous, we talked about, just the amount that we collect, residential, commercial, industrial, vacant land. That's how we're able to create commercial leads, vacant land leads, et cetera, and a bunch of other records like MLS history records, an expired listing, a sold listing, on market, et cetera. So just want to show you guys the data that we have. And remember, besides the mobile app, we also have the desktop version. So you can analyze a property from the comfort of your office or generate leads, and you get up to 10,000 every month with that link down below. Now, before we get into the mobile app, there is a few things I'd like to discuss on the desktop that's going to be important to the mobile app. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is credits. Our mobile app will allow you to skip trace a property and get a cell phone and an email right then and there. You'll be able to purchase the documents on that property, like the loan, the pre-foreclosure documents, even a deed of the property. And you can even send postcards using our mobile app. However, in order to do that, you have to go to our desktop and add credits. And you can do that in our settings area. In our settings area, here at the bottom right, you'll be able to add prepaid credits. So first, fill out your billing information. From there, you'll be able to select the card you'd like to use and the amount that you'd like to add to your credits. Once you have your credits, you're good to go. You can now make purchases on the mobile app. Second most important thing on the desktop I'd like to expose you to is the team member section. Now, if you're the main account holder, you get the mobile app for free, no additional costs. However, if you have teammates, you don't have to pay for another PropStream account. At a fraction of the cost, they can have access to your account. And in the team member area, there are 3 types of team members. The 2 important ones I want to expose you to are the web and mobile access. So everything that you can do on the desktop and on the mobile app, your teammate can do. And that's an additional cost there. We also have what we call a Scout account. Scout's free, and it's a limited version of the mobile app. What they're able to do is simply just pull up a property, put some notes on it, and save it for you. They can't do any detail search. They can't make any orders or skip tracing. They're just a scout to just go out there and find these physically abandoned properties or whatever your criteria is. Finally, whether it's you, your teammate with full mobile access, or your scout with the limited access, if any of you guys were to save a property, we're going to store it in the My Properties area under the mobile section here at the bottom left. So just know that the idea was that we know you're on the go. You're probably busy or probably in between, one destination to another, and you catch a physically abandoned property or an abandoned commercial building. You'll be able to pull up the app, save that property, and then just close the app. From there, you can run back to the office, find that property in your folder, click on that property, and then analyze it from the office, right? Now, if you're persistent like I am, and you decide to pull aside and you want to perhaps see if someone's there or just got to know everything about that property, well, you're on the road and you can't do that, right? Because you're on the desktop. You can only do that on the desktop. Well, no. That's why we created the mobile app. So our mobile app does have driving for dollars features. However, it's also designed to give you all of our data that's on the desktop, but on the go. See, that's what separates our app from most apps out there, is that when we exposed our app last year in July, what we discovered was that most mobile applications, real estate mobile applications, were just designed for driving for dollars, which is great. That's something that we definitely wanted to include in our system. However, we know that there are individuals like yourself that are actually going to be talking to the homeowner or in the actual property. And then these apps can't help you because they weren't designed for you to get out of the car, right? The whole application was stay in your car, take a photo, send a postcard, or call and make contact. We took a different approach. In the event you actually get out of your vehicle or you have to go to a property appointment, for example, the mobile app can help you out. You log in using your username and password or your security settings. And the first thing I want you to know about our mobile app is that the toolbar is located at the very, very bottom. And we're going to keep it simple. So first thing you're going to be able to do is search a property and get into the details. And that's the search icon right there. The second icon are all the properties that you save on your account on the mobile app. And all of the properties that are here in the favorites area are once again the same properties that are here in the desktop version in the same order, as you can see. Now, again, we have the driving for dollars feature, and that's the drive feature. So you can record your drive and just do what you need to do, or something very unique to PropStream, set some filters and then go out for a drive. And we'll talk about that in a few moments. History just shows you every property that you've ever touched or pulled up on the mobile app, whether you saved it or not. Because sometimes you might change your mind. You might pull up a property, not save it, and then later on get back to the office and say, man, I should have saved that property. History is going to show you all of the properties that you've clicked on, whether you've saved it or not. And finally, the More section. The More section is your settings area. And what's important here is your account information. You can change your username and password. Billing and business information, very important here if you're going to be doing marketing. By applying your business information, we'll put this information on the postcards that you send out through the mobile app. So you don't have to sit there and add all of that manually. By autofilling this information, it automatically goes on your postcard template. Mobile activity drive log. In this feature, it's going to show you all of the drives that you've recorded using our drive feature so that you can get back to it at a later time and view the properties and the drive that you took at that time. So very powerful feature. I love it for the very fact that, again, you can look at all the routes that you've taken in the past and not redo those routes again. And you can even see the properties. Those little green property indicators are showing you properties that you've clicked on at the time of that drive. And that's it. That's our toolbar. Search, favorites, properties that you save on the mobile app, which get sent to the desktop. Drive for driving for dollars. History for properties that you clicked on. It may have not saved, but could change your mind on later on. And then the more section, where you can get more information and where your records are logged for driving for dollars, etc. Now let's talk about the search page. So once again, when we released our app, there was already a bunch of other apps out there. So why did we even go into that field? Well, what we discovered was that none of those apps were addressing one important thing, which is, what if we're in front of the property or inside the home and we need to talk face to face with the homeowner? That's where we decided to come in. So with the search page, I can actually pull up a property by an address. I can simply type in an address. And as I'm typing, we'll provide a recommendation. Oops, sorry here. And if it's the right recommendation, go ahead and tap on it. And we're going to immediately go straight into the property's details for you. So let's just do a quick side-by-side comparison. I'm going to pull up the same property on our desktop version over here. So 8729 Boyne Street. And I just want to let you guys know that if you're comfortable with our data already on the desktop version, then you'll see the similarities on our mobile app. When you go into the details of our mobile app, it's laid out in the same fashion as our desktop version. So just waiting for it to load up right here. There we go. So first thing you're going to get is the address, the image of the property, and all of the property characteristics, which is this first top half right over here. Property address, characteristics, photo of the property. Now there's this little tag icon, which just like on the desktop version, I can tag a property on the desktop version. I can do the same thing on the mobile app. Because again, you might be in front of a property and see something our data doesn't see, like the boarded up windows, or maybe there's dead grass or something, or a toxic leak. I don't know what it is, but you can hit the tag feature and put a status. Maybe you scheduled an appointment for later on, or maybe you made an offer, or whatever that status is. You can then tag the property, boarded up windows, brown grass. You can hit the edit button and even add your own tags if you'd like, right? And finally, notes at the very bottom. Like, this homeowner is a Tom Brady fan. They love dogs. They hate cats. It might be something you catch, or maybe you see a muscle car in the back, right? Put that in your notes. Bring that up in the next conversation. You'd be surprised how far that conversation would go after that. So tagging gives you the ability to do that on the go. You can do that on the mobile app. And when you do that on the mobile app, it's sent to, as you can see, the desktop version. You'll be able to see the notes dead center when you revisit the property on the desktop version. So tagging is also available on the mobile app. And then finally, the heart button. By tapping the heart button, it will fill it in and it will give you the ability to save the property. If the property hasn't been saved yet, the heart will be hollow. So that lets you know that it hasn't been saved. If you haven't tagged a property yet, it'll be gray rather than green. But this is the first thing that you're going to see when you pull up a property. You're going to be able to see address, characteristics, image, the ability to tag, and the ability to save the property right away. Now, let's say you walk into the door of the homeowner. Just like you would when you're over the phone, you need to know everything about the property, the characteristics, the year built, the financial situation the homeowner's in, whether there's a mortgage, equity, whether there's anything attached to the property. All of that's on the mobile app. So below the property image, you're going to see a series of different icons, starting with details. And details are the same details that you're seeing on our desktop. So when you go to our desktop and pull up a property details shows you ownership info. As I scroll on the mobile app, you're going to see the same information, but just again in a mobile format. So in the past, most of the times you wouldn't know how old the property is while you're right then and there. And you might lose credibility for that. They might say, I thought you're an investor. Shouldn't you know this? Well, now you do. Right now on the go, you have every property information on the block, and you'll be able to leverage that information. For example, I can tell the homeowner, I see your property is built in 1949 here at the top. 70-year-old building. When's the last time you guys did the roof? Should have been done twice now. Have you not done that the second time? If not, that might impact my offer today, right? So having this information goes from, hey, how old is your property, to my records indicate this. And because of that, this is what's going to be the scenario. So very powerful information on the go, but it doesn't stop with property details. The tax information is also there. So I can hit the tax button to get the tax information on the go. I can see if there's a mortgage on the property. So mortgage would be the open loans area. So just like on the desktop, you can get to the mortgage and transaction history section. On the mobile app, you have the transaction history and you have the open loan information as well. So you know whether there's a mortgage you need to worry about or not worry about. Now, one of the things we also understood is that, when you're doing a good job at talking to someone face to face, and some of us might be better face to face instead of over the phone, right? But sometimes when you're doing a really good job talking to someone, they might just be interested in an offer right then and there. And we understood that in most cases, our investors and agents would say, you know what, I got to get back to you. And let me get your phone number, do some more research, and then I'll make my offer. So you do your research, and then you call that number and it's disconnected or they just not there anymore. Just lost out on a lead. And we didn't want that for you. So just like you can on our desktop, run comps, sourcing public records or MLS records or looking at your neighbors or cash transaction records, we have transferred that over to the mobile application. So in our mobile application, you can tap the comps icon and right then and there have the same data that's on our desktop, but just on the go now. So rather than saying, hey, you know what, I got to get back to you with my offer or let me do more research, just pull up the local data right then and there. So when you go to the comps area, just like in our desktop, you'll have access to comparables and neighboring records and cash buyers. Those are the three icons we're giving you, right? We don't believe you need to know about other listings right now because you need to get a value. And so we didn't want to cluster this area. We figured these are just the three important things to look at. So let me just center that on the screen here. Those three boxes, when you click on comps, are your comps. And below that, you'll have the ability to choose county records, right? So you can see a cash transaction, a foreclosure transaction, property that was transferred between family members. That's what's cool about public records is no real estate transaction doesn't get recorded. They catch everything. MLS are the local MLS data in that market. And what I like about the MLS is I don't have to be a realtor in any market to get the MLS data through PropStream. And not only that, but I get photos. I can tap on the comp and go to the details of that comp and see the photos while I'm on the go. So imagine talking to a homeowner who has a house that's falling apart and they want full price. And they say, hey, Burton, there's a street off Nada that I know sold online because I went to this website and I saw the price that it sold for. And that's what they want for their house. I get to pull up that property using the MLS data, the same data he probably looked at, and say, I'd love to give you that price you're asking for, but here's what that house actually looked like when it sold. Think about that. I'm right then and there next to the homeowner. So while most investors would have said, I got to get back to you and then hopefully get lucky and make contact again, I can just make that offer right then and there and use actual data and set the reality in. Mr. Homeowner, I think you're right. Your house could be $860,000 in this market. However, an $860,000 property looks just like that. And it also has a pool filled, right? Yours doesn't have a pool. And so now I'm able to justify my offer, which could be 10, 20, 30% lower, right? Whatever that may be. Or show them, hey, you know what? I think your house could be listed for this amount. You know why? Because here's what a property sold for, and your house is in the same condition, right? So they might be thinking, we want to list our house for 780. I'm going to be like, no, time out. Similar property down the street, 2 blocks down, same condition. Here are the characteristics of what it looks like. Maybe if we add a little bit to your house, if you have the opportunity to do that, we can sell your house for a lot more. And so I can not only show them, the as-is values if you're trying to get the property at a discounted amount. If I'm trying to help them with listing the property, I can show them what the listed properties look like in the market. So I can actually educate them and show them what they should actually be listing their property for. So all of this data is on the go. And here's the kicker. Again, not only do you have comps, public, MLS, or the ability to use both, but we'll give you the neighboring records in case you're in a country club or cul-de-sac or an area where architecture isn't really done anymore elsewhere, right? This could help you out here. And cash transactions. You might have buyers that are interested in this market and they just want to know what they should be buying properties for in this market in cash. You can guide them by letting them know, hey, here's what other buyers are buying properties for and what they're paying for in this market. But in terms of getting a value, an after repair value or trying to justify your offer, comps is probably going to be your best friend. From there, you're going to choose public MLS, or I probably choose both if you can in your market. And just so we don't leave you hanging, to the right of that are filters. So this little switchboard icon here allows you, to apply filters. So show me properties that sold in the last 3 months or 6 months. I could put a custom date range if I wanted to, increase or decrease my distance. Nothing new, right? Just filters for you to find similar properties. I think what's cool here is you can choose what type of status of MLS. So if you wanted to see an active listing, to see what agents are listing properties for, in the last week or two, that's available there. Sold, failed, contingent, pending listings. You also have property classifications like, I need to look at residential, and not only residential, but a certain property type like mobile home, condominium, etc. So all of the same features on our desktop are just now on the go. So you don't have to say, I got to get back to you and potentially lose out on that lead. You're able to now go and look at the data to use and talk with confidence, and then also run into our comps area and actually get an repair value of the property or an after repair value of the property. And here's the kicker. Not only can you do all of that in our comps section, but as you select your comps, you can see in the center, we'll calculate for you. So we'll do the calculations, what the average price point is of the 3 or 4 or 5 comps for you. And here's the thing I always tell our agent friends and investor friends is don't ever leave the homeowner with empty-handed. And we can help you with that by this hamburger button right over here. I call it the hamburger button, but it's these 3 horizontal lines. If you click on those 3 horizontal lines, you can save your comps. So all this filtering that you did, all those selecting and properties that you selected, you can save that. So that's the first thing I encourage you to do is save your comps. So that way, if you ever leave the property and then come back later on, the comps are still there waiting for you, because that might happen. The homeowner might say, hey, you know what? Let me wrap up dinner, come back in an hour. Okay, we'll come back in an hour. And Mr. Homeowner, about that property down the street. Now, if the homeowner needs to think about it, that's where the hamburger button comes in and view report comes into play. By selecting view report, we'll take the comps that you just selected and ran on the mobile app and generate a PDF file showing the homeowner their property characteristics, showing the homeowner your search criteria, so letting them know the actual filters you use to run your comps. Down below, we'll show them where those comps are. So we'll show them the low, the high, the average, where their property is versus the comps. And at the very bottom, we'll even show them a summary of every one of those properties as well. So not only can you show them the photos on the mobile app, but you can even give them a report. So that way, when you leave the house, they're looking at that report and they're realizing there's a lot of work to be done. Maybe they're right. Maybe the listing price is here rather than here, right? Or maybe they're right. Maybe, I was wrong. I wanted to sell my house for 780, but Josh is telling me we can sell for 820. Maybe I should lean on him as being my agent. instead of this other individual who said can't do more than 800, right? So lots of power in here that you can educate someone while on the go. And finally, to wrap up the property details area, opportunity. So if they decide, okay, we want to use you as our listing agent, well, there's still things you need to know, like, is there a mortgage on the property, and what is that mortgage? If the property can be sold for $600,000, well, do we need to worry about a mortgage because there's closing costs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Also, you can skip trace the property. So this is more for our investors or an agent that sees a potential lead. And maybe you're driving by and you're picking up your kid from school and there's that house that looks haunted, perhaps, skip trace it. You can get that phone number, you can get that email, and you can potentially call that homeowner. Maybe they're out of state. Maybe they don't even know the house is in that condition, right? Maybe in the last 2 years, they haven't been there because of this pandemic. So you can call them, let them know about their property, educate them with the local data. Or if you don't feel like calling anybody, how about we send them a postcard? So you can actually send a postcard to the mailing address of the homeowner. So we have several postcards for you to choose from. Once you like one that you prefer, go ahead and tap on the postcard itself. You'll be able to edit the postcard, change the color, change the verbiage on it, add more, add less to it if you'd like. And at the very bottom, you can hit preview your postcard, see what your postcard's going to look like before we submit it to the homeowner. And if you like everything, and as you can see here, my phone number is already on here. The address is already, we have dynamic templates. That's why I showed you earlier in the account area, in the more area, the account settings area, to fill out your information. So that way we can just put it in the postcard for you, like your phone number, for example. And once you like your postcard, you can now hit next and just make sure everything is good. Your text is good. You have your contact information on there and that your image is clear. And if so, go ahead and hit next and send out that postcard. And here's also a cool thing about two of our postcards. Two of our postcards, number 12 and 13, actually allow you to take a photo and put it on the Polaroid picture that you see here. So imagine that house with tall brown grass, or maybe you had kids partying there, right? And they left trash everywhere last night. Take a picture of that. So you can tap on number 12, for example, and then as you're customizing your card, you can do property picture right over here and use a photo from your library, or take one. Take a photo. Maybe it's your, pretend it's my face. Use that. Maybe that's the house with all the individuals there and whatnot that were partying. They left the trash. Use that to create your postcard. And then from there, after you select that picture, preview your postcard. And instead of my face, imagine this is the house with broken windows, or this is the house with the person passed out on the front yard, right? Take a picture, send it to the homeowner, because they may not know that that's happening. And that might get them to call you. They might say, hey, what's happening with my house? Well, hey, I'm an agent and drove by and I just saw something weird. I figured I'd let you know. And from there, you've established rapport with that individual immediately. So postcard feature, very, very powerful, whether it's a blank template with the verbiage you need, or taking a picture, number 12 and 13, and sending it out. Now, the wrap it up again is the documents. We can purchase documents of the property while we're on the go, and even get directions. Maybe you randomly got here, you forgot how to get there. Directions show you how to get from your place back to that property if you need to. And the step-by-step directions, feel free to use different applications if you need to. And share. Share will let you share to a team member, a scout. It will let you share to an external user as well. If you want us to a buyer or your broker, feel free to do that. And this is our property details page. Now, here's the cool part. You can get to a property either by address, which we did right now, and then analyze all of the details, or we can use an accessor's parcel number. So need the county, need the APN. My personal favorite, you might be, again, in a neighborhood you don't know. So Geo Locate shows you where you're at on the map, And from there, you can zoom out. And since we have parcel data, you can just tap on a parcel and get the details of that property. So once you tap on a parcel, you'll see a brief description. And then from there, you can go into the details. And it's the same layout, right? Nothing really is changing. We're giving you the same information, right? Property information, mortgage information, the ability to run comps. So notes properties are going to have a different property details layout. The story might be different. That's without a doubt. To give you an example, here's a property in Miami that I pulled up. And when I get into details, it looks the same, but the property has a pre-foreclosure button that I can look at, a bankruptcy button, a lien button. It's on. I mean, some properties are going to be going through categories that we have access to, and we're going to show you that while you're on the go. And some properties will have photos, like I showed you earlier, which you can look at, and some will not. So just know that the layout's the same, but the properties have a different story for each and every one of them. And so that's how to search and analyze the details, which none of these applications out there were addressing. Right? They assumed that you were never going to leave the car, which fair enough. It makes sense. You're looking to source leads, and staying in the car, fastest way to do that, right? If you're just driving and finding those properties. But again, we wanted to take care of those that actually get down and are analyzing the property or going to appointments. We didn't want to leave you behind. We have so much data. We figured you can have it on the go since you were already using it from the office anyhow. Now, again, if you save a property, favorites is where we will store them. And remember, that's sent over to the desktop version. But now let's talk about driving. So we get it. Some of you guys still want to drive for dollars. I do it. So the drive button, dead center, is designed specifically for that. So 2 ways to go driving for dollars in the PropStream. First and foremost, do you want us to record your drive? You can hit on or keep it under off. Now, the first way to go driving for dollars is just drive. And this is the traditional method of driving for dollars, where what we're going to do is show you the map and just start recording what you're doing, all the left turns, all the right turns, etc. Now, I'm not driving for dollars right now, but let's assume I headed north into this neighborhood right over here, and I'm in this block, and I decide, you know what? After heading north and I'm in this block, this property has a rusted car out in the front. What I can then do is, after I identify this property after heading north, I can tap on that property. Imagine, again, I'm driving to this property where I'm pulling up right now. And once I'm in that area, I can zoom in, tap on that property, and get into the details. Oh, this is an apartment complex. I'm sorry. A commercial building. And we have that information. Let's click on a parcel just to the left of that. Yeah, so pardon me, I just pulled up a huge, you're going to see, there it is, apartment complex. So yeah, we have that too if you wanted that information, but I'm going to scroll left right now, and let me pull up a parcel for you guys here. And once I pull up that parcel, again, I can look at the details on the go. So driving for dollars, we got you covered. Just go out there and drive, pull up these parcels, hit the heart button, and save them while you're on the go. Now, once you come to an end, whether that's 30 minutes, an hour, or however long, at the bottom is your status bar. And so it's going to tell you how long you've been driving, the distances, how many properties you stopped at. And once you're done, you can go ahead and hit end. And we now, if you didn't save it the first time, allow you to save your route one last time. So you can hit save drive and name it whatever you prefer. If you don't want to save it, no biggie. Just don't save it. Hit drive. We will save your properties that were saved in the favorites area, but your route will not be saved. For those that do decide to save the route, remember, your drives are in the More section under Mobile Activity Drive Log. This is where you'll be able to find your recorded logs. Now let's talk about the unique driving for dollars only found in PropStream, and that's set filters in Drive. what we discovered is that 9 out of 10 investors drive for dollars are looking for something physical, but there is that one person who may be in a nice area where there's no abandoned properties, right? Let me give you an example: Beverly Hills, right? Orange County, California, like some of the high end neighborhoods. But just because the properties aren't physically have a physical issue on the outside, like boarded up windows or tall grass, doesn't mean that there aren't any opportunities in that market. And that's where set filters came into play. Set filters in Drive allows you to actually build a search criteria that you can identify properties in a certain radius. So the radius is almost like a market search, where in the desktop you would search a city or a county. On the mobile app, you're searching a radius around you. So 2 miles around my current position right now. And then after that, you can apply filters on the left-hand side. So I want an owner-occupied property who it's occupied. I want a lien, I want a vacant, I want a auction, I want a flipper, a failed listing, perhaps. I want to talk to one of these categories here. Let's do liens. And then I can add property characteristics, residential, single family, under 4 bedrooms or less. MLS status, on market, off market. These are the same filters on our desktop version. So as you apply your filters, maybe you want to talk to an individual over a corporate office. Maybe you want that lien to be a tax lien with an amount of $1,000 or more, just to drive motivation. Once you have that information, go ahead and hit apply. And this is what the set filters does for you without actually leaving your area. It's going to find properties that meet your criteria. So give it just a second. I'm lagging a little bit here. And pull up those properties in your area. That looks like I got no results. So hang on a second here. Let me remove that tax lien amount. Let me see. Maybe that was my case there. I think I have some very specific criterias. So there we go. So I just removed, let me remove the 10,000 right now. So there we go. Removing that 10,000 amount. And it's now redoing the search. And here we go. It looks like we should have some results now. Boom. It looks like there it is. So perfect. So without leaving my property yet, right, my home where I'm standing right now, I can actually surgically find a house I can actually drive to. That's why it's called set filters and drive. So I sit here, populate some filters, and if I'm a person that prefers face-to-face, this is it for me. I have now properties I can go to and drive to. And once I find that property, I can tap on that property, for example, number 8, and get to the details of that property. And these are properties that we might be driving by all the time. Look at number 8. If you take a look at those MLS photos that it had at one point, that property looks great on the outside, right? So the whole idea with set filters and drive is we know there are things sometimes happening on the inside, not necessarily on the outside. And you'll be able to pull up this information while you're on the go or sitting at that coffee shop, and then find the properties that have that criteria. And then from there, you'll be able to pull up the details of the property, analyze it, and then decide whether you should go visit that property or not. So this is our mobile application. Again, whether it's that property that looks great or any of these other properties, you'll be able to go into any of the properties' details, analyze it, skip trace, and even send that card out if you need to. So, Josh, that's our mobile app. Again, solves 2 problems.
Yeah, this is bananas.
The ability to give you contact information, and it also gives you the ability to do the driving for dollars. We wanted to make sure we covered both avenues. We know people are going to drive for dollars, and we know, again, people are going to end up visiting properties, and we didn't want to leave them behind. So I hope our mobile app help you guys out. So thank you for the time.
Yeah. So here's what you should do next. if you're watching this. Number one, get your free trial if you don't already have it. growwithjosh.com/PropStream. It's scrolling across the bottom. It is also in the description. Number two, make sure you fully set up your profile in PropStream on the desktop or laptop version. And then number three, download the mobile app so you can start using that. And you know, Burton mentioned at the beginning some of the things you have to do credit wise, or depending on what functionality you're going to use in the mobile app, but start playing with it.
Correct.
You know, play around with it, see what works for you, and start to use it to generate more business. Let's make some more money with this thing, right? The more I have Burton on, the more I realize that this thing, this platform, this PropStream thingamajig is, I mean, it's literally limitless, the different ways that you can monetize it. And just in our session here today, I wrote down several other topics that I want to dive deeper on future sessions like this, because of, you know, just turning over another rock, another opportunity with the platform. So thank you so much for spending some time again with my community, my audience. Check out all of the information in the description. We are very aggressively looking to partner with great agents who are looking to build, to grow their production and build a substantial organization. And PropStream is a great way to feed both of those. And we've got some systems and processes around that. So check that out. Would love to chat with you. If you have any questions, you get stuck with something, you need some help with something, comment below, shoot me a private message, call, text, email, whatever is easiest for you. I'm happy to help. I've already reserved Burton to be back here again next week with some more great stuff. So thanks for spending some time today, and we'll see you and talk to you again.